Follow up for you as we continue to follow the headlines related to federal budget cuts this week here in the Carolina Weather Group. We last week talked with Brad Panovich about cuts that we were seeing at NOAA and the National Weather Service. Well, we've seen a letter now circulating around social. I can't independently verify it, but I've seen it in enough places that it's worth putting on the screen because it does kind of match the pattern. And the letter it says in part at least this one employee who's identified as Cole Hood, who appears to work for the National Weather Service, advising him to please return to work because he was quote unquote accidentally fired, and regrettably his termination was sent in error. So how many people were exactly let go at the National Weather Service and NOAA and then brought back? What was the delta between those two numbers? I couldn't say for sure. But again, I just want to give our love and support to the National Weather Service, the hardworking men and women who work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week to keep us protected and covered for severe weather, for forecasting, for aviation, for gardening, for anything at all that involves commerce, involves weather. It's local meteorologists, the National Weather Service offices across the country. One thing we do know for sure, because this has been printed to paper, is that some of the upper air observations, the weather balloon launches in Alaska, New York, and the third one was it Maine? It was another New England state. They're cutting back on some of those due to staffing. We've also seen cutbacks to some spring trainings for spotter programs, for internships, for students, all citing staffing restrictions at National Weather Service offices. So a lot of this is still in flux, and probably also worth mentioning that at the time of this live stream on Wednesday night, we are also looking at a potential government shutdown come Friday. I bring that up because previous government shutdowns left federal workers, such as National Weather Service employees, working unpaid for some time. They got the back pay when the government reopened, but on top of all that's going on with DOGE and the presidential administration's goals to cut down budgets, it is also possible that if lawmakers can't come to a budget resolution by Friday, that we could see a repeat where federal workers who are considered essential keep working temporarily unpaid. So, politics aside, Frank, I wouldn't want to go to work unpaid. I wouldn't want to go to work under the fear that I might get fired or terminated at any point. So, regardless of how the government decides to move forward with this, again, we're here for all those meteorologists who we appreciate very much on the forecasting and life saving operations they do.
Call your elected representative, tell them that the people who are working deserve to get paid. If the government shut down, you still should pay the people who have to work because they're essential. Stop using them as political pawns. That goes to both parties.
Yes. And
There.
a little realism here. Let's just say hypothetically, the government does shut down on Friday. These men and women are going to go to work this weekend, and they're going to issue those life-saving severe weather alerts throughout the country for the severe weather that we told you about at the start of this show. And we would love for them at the end of the day to have the money they need to go home to keep a roof over their head and food on their table. So
What's fair is fair. If they have to work, they should get paid, period.
we will keep our finger on that pulse as best we can, and kind of give you updates as things go on. But that's kind of where we're at this week. Confusion and question marks, and we'll see.